Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into an electrifying discussion on the fascinating correlation between science and theology. We'll explore the compelling argument of intelligent design, drawing parallels from everyday objects to the intricate machinery within cells. Featuring esteemed experts like Lennox, Steve Meyer, and Behe, this conversation promises to challenge conventional scientific norms and ignite your curiosity about the mysteries of our universe. Let's delve in.
We conclude design, we infer design from physical evidence. It's not from some, vision or anything that people have. If you look at a mousetrap, you can tell it was designed, and you can tell because you see how the parts are arranged, what the relationship of the parts with respect to each other to perform a function. When you look at an outboard motor on a boat, you see the same thing. You see a purposeful arrangement of parts. Now we see that in the machinery of the cell. We see outboard motors in the cell. We see trucks in the cell, and so on.
But your life would be so much easier if at the end of your article you said,
less fun.
You said, if you would like to pursue this further, go to the Department of Philosophy. Go to the Department of Theology. Here the science ends.
I say that after we conclude design. I do not infer to God. And as I write, some people have approached me and said, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's intelligent, but I think it's, space aliens have visited us.
Fred Hoyle's explanation.
Exactly.
Go ahead, John.
I think the basic question here is, there are several and they're very important, is what is an explanation? That's a crucial question. And Michael cited Newton, hypothesi non fingo. His gravity, when I was taught in school, I thought the law of gravity explained gravity. And I was an adult before I discovered it explains no such thing. So that even a scientific explanation within its own terms is rarely full. It's almost never full. That's the first thing. Secondly, we admit at all kinds of levels explanations in terms of agent, like if we want a complete description of the motor car. Now, your earlier question to Michael, could God have done this? There is a sense in which God can do things any way he likes. But the issue is, how does God do it? And secondly, is his activity detectable scientifically? Now, I'm putting those words together very carefully. Not is his involvement detectable, but is it detectable in terms of science? In other words, if you set up your definition of science as restricted to the five senses,
yes,
so that you're not, and here comes the principle, the Socratic principle, that is often violated, that the late Antony Flew saw, that when he came to conclude that there was an intelligent designer behind the universe on the basis of DNA, and they said, oh, but you can't do that. He said, I follow the evidence where it leads. And this is the clash that arises. You can either say, well, science has come to an end. It cannot answer this question. There are very few people want to say that. Or you say, science is limited. We must open the field to other kinds of questions, like the why questions of purpose, like teleology and all this kind of thing. And the underlying mistake that we're forced to think is that science and rationality are coextensive when they're not.
And also that
that is to say, science does not cover the full field of rationality.
No, history is a rational discipline.
And
So is
there
philosophy.
Are other kinds of sciences, and this is what my PhD was about. There's historical scientific reasoning, which is all about
abduction,
inferring back to to explain causal origins. Imagine that you walk into the British Museum and you look at the Rosetta Stone, and someone says, "Well, how did those inscriptions come about?" If the archaeologist is governed by a principle that you alluded to indirectly, it's called methodological naturalism. We may only infer materialistic causes, whatever the evidence. The scientist would miss the obvious explanation. This was produced by scribes,
Right.
by intelligent agents. There are distinctive indicators of the activity of intelligence, and therefore that allows
It's
us
language.
to infer.
It's language.
There was one of the early pioneers in the information sciences named Henry Quastler said that the creation of new information is habitually associated with conscious activity. In other words, our uniform and repeated experience affirms that there's only one type of cause that produces information. But uniform and repeated experience is the basis of all historical scientific reasoning. So there is a basis in historical scientific reasoning to infer intelligent design. There's no need or reason to limit the conclusions that we can consider in that branch of science, because
Unless, and here's the bottom line for all of this, unless you presume a naturalistic worldview and imprison yourself
And
within
that's
its
not fair.
confines.
that's the key issue.
That's not fair. If the evidence leads beyond a naturalistic view, you must pursue it, correct?
Why
Yes,
not? Why
but-
shouldn't you?
All right.
Yeah.
But why shouldn't you? That's
All right.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're
You're
closing yourself
artificially-
within a prison.
All
Yeah.
right. All three of you strike me as, well, of course, you're rather argumentative, but all three of you strike me as rational men, and yet look at the lives you lead. Steve Meyer wrote an article on the Cambrian explosion for the Proceedings of the Biological Society at the Smithsonian Institution, and his editor was harassed and finally left the institution. Michael Behe has evoked from his colleagues at Lehigh University, which is a great university and especially strong in the sciences, a statement on their website that Dr. Behe is entitled to express his views, but we, his colleagues in the biology department, do not view them as science.
He's been disclaimed.
He's been disclaimed. Why? Academics espouse all kinds of crazy ideas. Why should these ideas, why should the challenge to Darwin and the suggestion that if there's a code, there's a coder, the suggestion of an intelligent design, evoke such singular hostility? What is going on? I'll start with John because I didn't give you the
What is
chance.
going on is the domination of naturalism and materialism in the academy, which is so ironical. I'm from Oxford University. Its motto, and it's been there for a long
Dominus
time,
illuminatio
is Dominus Illuminatio Mea. The people that founded the great universities of the world had no problem with the idea of an intelligent designer of the universe. But now somehow, in the academy, anybody who espouses the idea that was the foundation of modern science in the 16th and 17th centuries, arguably as a historical thesis, is out. That strikes me
And that
as
idea,
a very...
is, the founding idea is?
The founding idea is, well, let me quote C.S. Lewis. Men became scientific. Why? Because they expected law in nature, and they expected law in nature because they believed in the legislator. There it is, encapsulated. That's Whitehead's thesis, if you want it, North Whitehead. And the point is, these gentlemen here, tragically, have been subject to an anti-intellectualism that has lost the spirit that lies behind the modern science that these universities claim to teach.
Well, wasn't that an eye-opening conversation? The idea that our understanding of science may be limited by a narrow worldview is truly thought-provoking. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think science should explore beyond naturalistic boundaries? Can we truly detect the activity of an intelligent designer? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe for more engaging discussions like this. Until next time, keep exploring.